Keep peace on earth. 6 things never to discuss with other people if you want to keep the peace. 1. Politics. 2. Money. 3. Sex. 4. Religion. 5. Their problems. 6. Veganism, flat earth, and when are aliens going to land? I don't have personal conversations with people about these subjects. If you have emailed me and ask a question, I might answer it. If it looks like this will turn into a political discussion, I won't answer you. I don't discuss politics on anything other than my videos now, and for that matter, I deliberately turn off the commenting because I know what will happen if I don't. I don't like being attacked. And I find that as soon as I say something that people don't agree with, they either outright call you a stupid idiot or they attack you in some other fashion. This is the ego trying to keep a false sense of self-esteem up by being righteous. It can't compromise with any other opinion because it feels threatened by other opinions. Your real sense of self-esteem lies with the soul, who does not attack others. If you've never experienced the difference within yourself, you won't understand what I mean. Understand that there is a painful way to live on earth, and that's through the ego, and a peaceful way to live on earth, and that's through the soul's love for you and others. They're as different as night and day. For those of you who have crossed separation into unity consciousness thinking, congratulations. You know the difference, and I'll speak for myself here. I love the difference. One is painful as hell, and the other is peaceful and happy. The way to access the soul is through an open heart. When that chakra is open, your entire thinking can change in a second. That's the difference. That profound. When the heart is closed, you stay in your ego. When it's open, you access your soul's love. If you want to feel the difference, think of someone or a pet that you have loved in your life and see how thinking about them makes you happy. In that state of mind, would you attack another person? I do not have conversations that triangulate. This was the basis of my relationships in my family, and they all were very unloving and disappointing to me. With political conversations, especially about Trump, who frankly is a controversial figure, he is usually demonized to be the perpetrator while I am put in the position of rescuer to someone who feels victimized. If I continue to have this discussion with anyone, I'm likely to point out where their thinking is in error. A victim wants relief from their own perceptions, and I'm more likely to show them where they're in error than to enable their ego. I also remind everyone that the reason they feel like a victim is because they were raised in the matrix, and that's where it wants them, so they can continue to be a pawn at the hands of sociopaths who use them to get rich off of, and worse. I walk my talk to the best of my ability. I hold myself accountable for everything I say and do. When something is painful, I correct it. Everything. That's the way I live. Every day. If I don't, I continue to live in pain, and who needs that? Social media is set up so that you can argue with everyone around the world, thus continuing the feeling of painful separation and of being alone in the world. If you want that, then continue to argue your opinion, because you'll get all the separation you want. I understand truthers have to do it as part of their contract to the light, but they need to understand the futility of fighting back. Arguing with someone is arguing with a vampire, an energy vampire. Trying to control someone who is trying to control you is absolute futility. Love is what joins us, ego is what separates us. You might have figured out about me by now that I speak my mind. I don't mince words, and I will not agree with anyone just to keep the peace. I'm not responsible for your feelings, and you're not responsible for mine. I don't react to attacks anymore, but I still don't like them. I'm trying to work on feeling unified with the people of Earth, and when I get attacked, that doesn't really help me. I speak daily to beings who I feel very connected to. My job is to pass on their messages. So I do that. That's how I see it. Having discussions about what I post isn't up to me. I'm good with what they tell me. If I have a problem, I'll ask them to explain. I discuss my channelings with them. Me, Ivo, doesn't it seem to you these days that politics, sex as in the inappropriate sex of pedophilia, Money as in the financial crash that's coming, and religion, well, that isn't even so much in the forefront as the other three, at least except if you discuss the Pope and the Vatican. Doesn't it seem to you that these things are so in our faces all the time? Ivo, yes, and you must mature as a race in spite of the triggers they pose to you. Me, yup. Ivo, you must learn under difficult circumstances. This is what those born on earth now have chosen, to learn under the worst conditions, because the most spiritual growth can be made when the times are the toughest. Me, that makes sense. Ivo, and so many have contracted to spring forward in spiritual growth now by being incarnated at these times. What is happening is 4 of these main topics you have mentioned are in fact on the global table right now, and about to undergo great change, so your people are fixated on their opinions about them when in fact they should be more open-minded. Change requires that you be open-minded, not closed-minded with your heels dug into the ground. Me, makes sense. Ivo, could it not be considered that a person who is seen as a savior should have his own agenda and therefore surprise everyone in the end? Could it not be seen that there might be a way to keep the fiat economic system in place yet have it shift to the benevolence required as you move through the galactic gates? Could alternatives less demanding to you not be sought out? They could be. However, what is occurring is that the strongest, most severe changes are being predicted and prepared for because of the fact that your people are so set in their opinions. Me, okay. Ivo, we see your people, we see how they think, we see what it will take to move them over to a benevolent system and how much change will be required. So this is a severe learning curve. Me, interesting. Ivo, there are other races of beings in the galaxy, my love, who have moved to Kesara and eventually joined the Galactic Confederation of Planets, who did not require the severe changes required that will be necessary for planet Earth. Me, so this is a big job. Ivo, exactly, my love. Me, and it's because of the way people are so stuck in their matrix ways. How about that? Ivo, it will take a lot of work. It already has. This transition, as you noted the other day, was in fact supposed to begin around 1967, as you call it, the Summer of Love. You noted the book title for the New World Order agenda was 1984, and this was when their agenda was scheduled to be completed. We have managed to hold this off for many decades in order for your people to wake up sufficiently that we could begin to create the changes. The changes that were scheduled to be in place in 1967 were not even half as severe as the pain your people will be put through now. Reading my thoughts, yes, John F. Kennedy was the president who was to work with us in the first proposal of the 1960s, however, as you know, he was assassinated by the deep state in 1964. Russia was fine at that time with Brezhnev as leader, but the other country in question was the US. The first order of business would have been to make peace with Russia, as this was the time of the Cold War, however it did not occur. You will notice that the Beatles made their way to the US in 1964 to be used as a distraction for the many light workers and star seeds that were incarnated there at the time, the hippies. Me, yeah. That makes sense. Rock and roll. Ivo, and for you, this still serves as a distraction, one you have partaken of for 50 years. This is social engineering, and my dear, you realize the wrong values were often passed to listeners through the lyrics. Me, I always get a kick out of Cat Stevens, who was a total peacenik, who turned Muslim and went to live in the Middle East. Later in life, he flew to the States to do a concert or something, and he was put on the no-fly list. Yeah, the guy who wrote Peace Train is seen as a Muslim terrorist by the Kabbalists during the Bush era. Yeah, but who knew rock groups could be a political weapon? Ivo, a political distraction, my love. Something to engage your mind while things you should really be concerned about slip on by. Me, not all hippies were like that. There was a lot of protesting going on then too. Ivo, if you look at other key points along the way, you will see the death of Diana in 1997, which was another key time for this to take place. She was to reveal to the people because they trusted her, the truth of what was happening upon Earth and who the Cabal were. She was silenced. The Chimera launched a large attack in 1996, and it was our hope to be able to take Earthlings from the lower timelines before this happened. However, we were unsuccessful. The murder of Diana was in retribution for our attempts to ward this off Chimera attack. They had her murdered. Then we move forward to 2001, when the Twin Towers were exploded, and this was targeted because the computer with access to the Saint Germain funds lay in the towers. Tower 7 was necessary to implode because this was a backup system to the main control. Aha. So after 2001, was there any key dates? Ivo, we had to reacquire the Saint Germain funds and revisit our plan as there were loopholes that needed plugging. We are there now, with the right leaders in place in your world, protected by us. Now it is a question of opening your minds to the truth, not the lies you continue to believe and to enact in your daily lives. Thanks Ivo. Ivo, thank you, my love. We have great respect for your strength, my dear. You forge on ahead with our messages despite the fact you are seen as a pariah by your own sister, and others whose minds are too closed to be able to believe the truth you pass on. Their problem. I don't associate with them. Ivo, which leaves you alone. I won't compromise myself or my message. Ivo, and for that we bow at your feet, my dear. We owe you so much. Ivo, you're choking me up. Ivo, you make light, but your strength and power of mind are the means for us to speak to those who must be made to see the light. Without people such as yourself, who live frustrating lives of continuous adversity, constant malignment, frequent attack, and the frustration of knowing the truth while others who do not, tell you are stupid, we stand amazed at your power. What else can I do? I won't give in. Ivo, and that is why you are where you are, working with who you work with, who respect you and love you. Thank you, Ivo. I love you for being there with me through all of this insanity. I dedicate this video to Corey Good.